So somebody said Auro, I can't pronounce the name. Auro Upmix movies sound better than the native Atmos track. Do they? I mean, does something sound better because you hear more sound?
Yeah,
or does something
exactly.
sound better because it's information put there to play? It's like every time I do a surround system for years, people are like, I can't hear the rears. Can you turn them up? And I put a multi-channel stereo, like, oh, that's great. Even though it was false bullshit. It was perception of what they like better. So if you like that better, great. I prefer to hear information that's supposed to be there.
So you know what Auro's one of their big mistakes is they didn't do what's in the Rush song, conform or be cast out subdivisions, right? They wanted to really stick hard to their speaker layout, and they wanted the big elephant in the room to conform to their speaker layout, and that's a mistake. When I come from the telecom industry, where the company I was working for had a proprietary DSL technology, they wanted the standard, which was ADSL, to conform to them. 10 years later, they're out of business. You can't do that. You got to try to make your technology work within whatever is the de facto standard of the time, and hopefully you can piggyback it on. If you look at the history of surround sound and consumer audio, DTS won the format war for Blu-ray, but they got their asses handed to them in Ultra Blu-ray. So now Dolby Atmos is the standard. But back when Blu-ray first came out, DTS was the standard. I mean, most of my Blu-ray discs were in DTS, right? Most of your DVDs in DTS.
Yeah, and most people liked it better because it was louder.
Yeah. Well,
that's the bottom line.
But when Dolby Digital came out, DTS was sonically superior because it had less compression. I mean, it was night and day. You go listen to like Fleetwood Mac, the Chain DVD. That thing was so compressed. And then go listen to like the Eagles Hell's Freezes over in DTS, and that sounded almost as good as lossless. That was like a huge difference.
How many movies can you watch in Auro 3D?
I have about 2.
How about music?
Is there anything? I'm sure there's more, but I don't have any though.
I've got Mondo Dio.
I mean,
I've got an Auro demo disc.
Yeah, I've got one.
I would love to see. I would love to see a bunch of stuff in Auro 3D. There's just not any. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Anytime you upmix anything, information there or not, you're presenting a false sound. It's not what its intent was recorded to be. So, I mean, I just don't understand what the deal is. I mean, if you got a format that's not supported by studios, it's not supported by, the streamers, then why is it even relevant? It's just another DSP is all it is.
So Dolby does support high channels, but Auro does not support tops. That's the mistake Auro made. They try to stick to one format that they didn't conform to the giant gorilla in the room, and now they're basically Sony beta.
I'm sure a full tilt Auro 3D theater with 3 layers of sound, because I put one in for a guy. Had to have it with the speaker of God, and you play something that's recorded in it. I'm sure it's spine tingling and amazing, but in America, it's just not a thing. I mean, I don't understand the argument about it. Everybody's so passionate about Aura's better. I mean, is it?
Well,
I mean,
they just want all their speakers to make sound. That's
what's funny is when Atmos came out, everybody was like, "Oh my god, I'm in an immersive bubble. It's the greatest thing." Now all of a sudden, everybody hates Atmos, or like this small group of people hate Atmos because they think upmixing the Auro is better. Like, what happened to all the love for Atmos you had before you discovered you can change the configuration of your speakers in your Denon receiver so you could play Auro?
Those are just the people that think Epstein killed himself. I mean, really? I did whatever. What up, Sheen? This is not you.
I really think Yamaha would benefit from this conversation. I really do.
What do you mean?
Who would? Yamaha?
Yeah, the DSP has been like fucking rocking for decades.
Well, they came up with the original.
Yeah,
Yamaha came up with the original universal speaker layout with the high channels. I mean, then Dolby tried to adapt to it with ProLogic 2Z, and ProLogic 2Z was a commercial failure. Nobody adopted it, and it wasn't much better than Dolby ProLogic X. So they realized that it's
all the huge films with PRC investment have Auro 3D. Huh?
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's not has nothing to do with streaming media, 4K media, whatever that is. That's not what people are getting.
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
in the US.
Yeah.
And we're also not talking about upmixing as well, so kind of irrelevant. And then DTS-X. I like whatever the DTS-X Pro is doing. I like it. It sounds good. Sounds good.
You know, my only thing about DTS-X is the upmixer for 2 channels terrible. They had a great upmixer before when they had a music and movie mode. Now they got rid of that feature of putting a center spread. I can't listen to 2-channel music upmix in DTS-X. But
DTS originally gained a lot of clout in the movie theater industry because they had a disc that coincided with the movie.
Yeah.
Versus being on the film, so there was more information. DTS had a higher noise floor. It was just louder. I mean, it just was. You know, was it clearer? I don't necessarily know that it was, but I used to listen to everything in DTS whenever I have the option because it played louder. But it just seems it kind of eventually faded away. Well, you know, listen, I'm not hating on any.
DTS lossless was better than Dolby digital lossless. Sure. A lossy. It was better. It had less
audio was, you know that, yeah.
Less compression, better stereo separation in the surround channels, and it wasn't. Dolby didn't admit this until they came out with True HD and Dolby Digital Plus. Like they would say compression doesn't matter. Then all of a sudden they came out with lossless, and now compression mattered. And now Dolby Digital Plus was equivalent to the regular DTS. So it took Dolby a little while to catch up. Back in the day,
for sure.
DTS is catching up now. That's for sure.
I watched everything I could if I had the option. You know, going back to Gladiator and some of the other movies, I watched it in DTS. You know,
Juan is correct. DTS mixes used to be boomy. They used to goose the bass levels up.
Big time.
DTS
Big
CDs.
Time. They were.
Go listen to Steely Dan Gaucho in 5.1. The bass is like 7-8 dB louder than it should be.
Juan's 1,000,000% correct. Absolutely. People's Republic of China.
PRC, that's right. Yeah. All huge films with PRC investment have Auro 3D.
People's Republic of China. Yeah. Fuck China.
And DTS-X versus Atmos. I think it really comes down to the mixer. I don't think it comes down to the codec.
They're equivalent formats. They really are. I mean, geez, you're splitting hairs. Only thing different is the upmixer for 2-channel. That's basically it. Otherwise, both good. Similarly good is the phrase to use on that.